Hello there and welcome back to Pokemon of the Week with me, Daniel, Civil Onion, OnionGrave64, or however else you may know me. This week is number 446 in the Pokedex, Togekiss, and we get to return to the underused tier, something we have not done for quite a long time. Togekiss is actually a favourite Pokemon of mine, or one of a favourite group, as it is very much the case with numerous numbers of people. However, there's an equal number of people that go, oh god, not that Pokemon. We'll explain why that is such a reaction later on in the video. Togekiss has 3 abilities, one of which you see very frequently, one of which you see quite rarely, and one of which you never see. The very common one is Serene Grace. Serene Grace makes a secondary effect on a move twice as likely to happen. So for example, if a flamethrower is likely to 10% burn normally, with Serene Grace, rise that up to 20%. Air Slash's 30% flinch chance, raise it up to 60%. You get what I'm on about now. Hustle gives you a 50% bonus to your attacking power, but at the cost of 20% accuracy. We will be able to show how this can be utilised in a further set later on in the video. The third ability, Super Luck, raises the likeliness of a critical hit by 1 stage. In reality that means about a 7% increase most of the time. It's not often used whatsoever because the other 2 abilities are much better. Now if we look at the base stats, that's reasonably quite an impressive combination. Base 85 HP is pretty good to go in tandem with 2 fantastic defensive bases, 95 and 115 respectively. Its special attack is even higher still at a base 120. Its speed may be average, but we will show numerous ways that Togekiss can get around this. But its attack is where it really lets itself down, although it has to be said that doesn't mean people don't try working with it. We'll show what I mean later on as well. Being a normal and flying type, it has 3 weaknesses to electric, ice and rock. None of these come from the part normal type, they all come from the flying type. It has a resistance to bug and grass, which is very handy, and it has 2 immunities as well, which is incredibly handy to ghost and ground respectively. So if we go on to the first of 4 sets, I couldn't get Togekiss down to 3 sets, believe it or not. It has so many options going for it. And we're going to go for the first version initially of that set, inverted commas. When people think of Togekiss, they think of being paralysed and flinched. And this is the first set that goes towards the flinching aspect, and that is by putting a choice scarf on Togekiss. Togekiss in this form becomes a real pain in the backside because with 60% chance of flinch, Air Slash can be spammed over and over again with a choice scarf, and flinching will come from that very frequently. It feels a lot more than 60%, put it that way. To go alongside Air Slash you have Trick, so that you can give another Pokemon the choice scarf instead if it is going to suffer horribly from it. Special and physical walls such as Blissey really don't like having choice items thrust upon them, so it's very good at crippling them, which you couldn't do otherwise. Aurasthea is a lovely move. It's a base 90 power move, fighting type, and it never misses. This is lovely and excellent to go in tandem with Air Slash because Aurasthea can hit the rock types and the steel types that would normally resist both of your stabs. The final move depends really on whether you want to go for power or for accuracy. Normally people will go for Fire Blast. Simple reason is because using Fire Blast you're going to get many more KOs on a set that relies on hitting as hard as it can, as quickly as it can. However, if you're paranoid about missing, and a lot of people are, Flamethrower is an alternative where you'll lose roughly 20% of your power in return for hitting all of the time. I would personally recommend to you to use Fire Blast, and that is definitely the much more common option, but that is an option there alternatively for you. There are other options depending on whether you need to have a specific set final move. Togekiss can learn a lot of moves. Psychic is an example that some people do use, but when you're putting it in tandem with Air Slash it's a bit pointless. Another alternative is Tri-Attack. You'll get stab off it, but it can't hit super effectively. And when you're a Choice Scarf user, the advantage of being quick is that you need to kill everything in one hit if possible. So that is why the moveset has been put there as it is. As I have put in the note, you basically have to pick your move and hope that your prediction was correct. Because if it's wrong, you have to switch out immediately. EV wise it's very obvious. Maximise the attacking stat, so in this case special attack. The speed stat and where you put the 4 is sort of irrelevant, so I always put it in HP. The second version of that set is the Thunder Wave and Air Slash combination, so para flinching. If you're not going to run a choice scarf, you have to accept that base 80 speed is not particularly impressive. So rather than trying to pump it up, using Thunder Wave on your opponent makes its speed fall incredible amounts, and therefore you are able to outspeed it even with no investment. And to go from there, you can then use Air Slash to cause 60% flinches on top of the 25% paralysis chance. So basically, the opponent only has a 3 in 20 chance of hitting back towards you. So very much fancy those odds. The other two moves are pretty much just filler, but they do provide a very useful piece of cover. Roost means that you can last pretty much indefinitely. Remember, Roost does get rid of your part flying type for the turn if you go first. So you do become weak to fighting type moves like close combat, and moves like Earthquake can hit you, but you do lose your weaknesses to all 3 types which you are weak against normally. Electric, Ice and Rock types will all be neutral to you while you're grounded from your Roost. Aura Sphere is the best type coverage to go alongside Air Slash. Fighting and flying together are reasonably good for their type coverage, not immaculate, but pretty good. There are a few Pokemon that really don't care too much about either, and special walls that aren't weak to either of these types don't care too much either. But generally this is quite a solid set to go for. Maximising your HP and your special defence is what I personally do. That is not the standard, however. The standard would be to give a bit more investment into your physical defence. However, I find that because you're going with a calm nature, it is much more efficient to go with the EVs and special defence, and it means that you're definitely more safe against the numerous special attackers in the UU tier that could cause you a problem. Leftovers are your item of choice because you want to be able to outlast the opponent while you're haxing them. Using this in tandem with relatively slow sweepers is the way to go. You know, the natural nature of Thunder Wave is that you're going to slow the opposition down. So the UU examples I have chosen that go really well in tandem with this Togekiss set involved are Manitan, non-choice scarfed Heracrosses, because many of them are, Toxicor Burn Orb Heracrosses I am focusing on here, Chandelure and Porygon Z. All of these are Pokemon with base speeds between 80 and 95, which by themselves struggle to sweep because they're just not quite quick enough. With Thunder Wave on the opponents though, on numerous of them hopefully for you, it can become much more versatile, and basically it makes sweeping a hell of a lot easier. So we're going to go on to set 3, and it's the Medikiss, and this is the set that I personally use most of the time when I'm using Togekiss. I use it as a healing pivot. Basically what this means is, by itself it can't do a whole lot, but it really benefits the entire team enormously. Wish, when in conjunction with maximum EV investment, heals 187 HP when it is in use. That is an incredible amount of HP considering that its base stat for HP is not particularly high, and it is very useful in the UU tier. That will more than heal half of the Pokemon in UU by 50%, and usually it'll be about a 3/4 heal on them. To go alongside this, you can have Heal Bell. The bonus of Heal Bell is that you can remove status effects from your own team, which is an incredible boon to be on a set alongside Wish. It basically makes it an incredible medic. Putting Protect on there is so that you can accept your own Wish if you are required, because this set can't run Roost. If it was running Roost, you'd end up with 4 move slot syndrome and having no attack, becoming huge taunt bait. Air Slash is your attack of choice because it is slightly less common than normal and slightly less prepared for as a result. Air Slash can also get the very rare flinch off on Pokemon that are slower than you. Well, very common, but the fact that Pokemon will not often be slower than you in this case means the flinch is slightly less useful. But, however, Air Slash's high critical hit percentage chance is also very much a very handy factor for you as well. And Serene Grace does double that chance as well, hence Super Luck is so obsolete. As I have put in the second note, however, this set does require a lot of patience and a lot of switching will often be involved when you're using this set. Long story short, this Togekiss by itself can't take many Pokemon out. It may be able to take Heracross out because of its bug fighting type rather, meaning it is quadruple weak to flying, but most things will be able to take probably a couple of your hits because you've got no investment. As a result, This is purely a medic, and you should not be relying on it to deal out massive chunks of damage. The final set I've got is the Mixed Attacker. Now in 4th generation, this did not exist, because Work Up, the move, did not exist at all. There was always a gimmicky set where you go for a purely physical set, and basically you could put a choice band on it, but now that there's Work Up, you don't have to go for a choice band anymore. You can run a Life Orb set. Combining the physical moves with Hustle, that means your extreme speed has an enormous amount of power. Normally, it would be 80 power on an Arcanine, for example. On Togekiss with Serene Grace, it would be 120 because of stab. With Hustle, Togekiss's extreme speed has base 180 power, which is enormous, and Drain Punch gets a 50% bonus as well. Work Up boosts your attack and special attack by 1 stage apiece. That's why there is Air Slash on this set. As I have put in the second note, it is incredibly tempting to use Aerial Ace. It's a move that can never miss, so the Hustle 20% accuracy drop will be completely negated. However, by going for 3 physical moves, you're going to be completely stuck against physical walls, of which there are many in the UU and OU tiers. That is why you don't do it. Many teams are not set up for flying type stab because it's so rare, and you should utilise that by sticking to your best base stat. Extreme Speed is a priority move, as you may have nearly guessed by the name, and that gives this a bit more versatility than it would otherwise, but as I've pointed out already, it has only 80% accuracy in conjunction with Hustle, and from my personal experience, it always misses when you need it to hit the most, which is why I don't use this set too often, it has to be said. Drain Punch or Roost is a very interesting question. If you run Drain Punch, the Rock and Steel types will not bully you like they would otherwise. However, there's a chance of it missing, and B, the amount of HP you heal is in direct relationship to the amount of damage you give out. But with Roost, you always heal 50% of your health, so it's much more predictable in that fashion. If you have a Pokemon on your team, and you're trying to run this set, that has complete domination over Rock and Steel types, you should run Roost. If you want more versatility with your Togekiss, however, definitely run Drain Punch. The EVs are also slightly weird compared to what you would expect. Rather than putting EVs of any massive proportion into speed, maximising both your attack and special attack are the way to go because you have a priority move. If Extreme Speed had 0 priority, this set would not work in the slightest. The fact that you can outspeed people even with an uninvested base 80 speed is what makes it stand out from the rest. Brave Nature may also seem very weird at first, but it is able to boost your pretty horrible physical attack, and given you're going to be relying on extreme speed, your speed drop is not particularly important, so bear that in mind before you use this set. And I hope you found this useful. It's a very unusual Pokemon, Togekiss, with a lot of options, some of which I've not even covered now because there are simply so many of them. But I hope you found this vaguely useful, and everybody have a great time. Put comments in this section if you find it interesting, and if you really enjoyed the video, leave a like. It's just a polite gesture, and I'll really appreciate if you do that. Thank you very much.
If you enjoyed the video you've just seen, please join my Facebook group and follow me on Twitter for the latest news.